Today, I'm featuring Cheryl Guerrero, a freelance photographer who I discovered through ArtSpan. The description she uses with her photos really add to the viewer's appreciation of her work. Hey creatives! Welcome back for another 30-second scroll. I'm Jessica Gardner, language coach at Artglish, and I help artists and designers to describe their work more confidently so they can feel seen and succeed faster. Today's featured portfolio is freelance photographer Cheryl L. Guerrero, and you can find her at clgimages.com. I first encountered Cheryl's site through ArtSpan, a San Francisco artists organization. And as you probably recall, your portfolio has two jobs it needs to do. And the first one is to help you get noticed, even in a short amount of time, like 30 seconds if your audience is scrolling through. So that's what we're going to try. I'm going to set my timer for 30 seconds and we'll take a look at Cheryl's site. Starting now. All right, so what stood out for you? I'd love it if you leave a comment and let us know. When I first saw Cheryl's site, I was really drawn to the power of her images, and you can see she really has a connection with her subjects in these portraits. And I was even more impressed because when I clicked on them and saw the descriptions, I was able to connect more deeply with them as well. For example, this one of Mariana. It says, Mariana is blind and navigates her neighborhood with the help of a cane and her neighbors. So, instantly I'm drawn even more closely to her because I can see the cane in her hand. I can see some neighbors in the background. And, she looks very happy and beautiful here, but I can imagine a little bit more about her world just through that one sentence description. So it really had a powerful effect. Same thing with this lovely lady. A young girl prepares to go to school on El Dia de Amor, Valentine's Day. I love red too, and so I can totally relate to this young girl. She's all sassy and ready for school. She's got her little dress and hair ties and her red lips, and she looks great. She looks ready to go. And then finally, this gentleman, a tobacco worker in the Vinales region of Cuba. I don't know anything about tobacco farming, but I'm definitely more interested knowing that little bit of extra information. I can imagine what his work and his day must be like, and I can see some of the equipment in the background and maybe take a guess at what it's for. So, it definitely engages me a lot more to have even just that small extra amount of information with the descriptions. I also want to show you one of her series because I know a lot of people want to know how they can describe a larger body of work. So you can see there's a whole series here about weaving, and she's got a description for the whole body of work itself. Guatemala borders the south of Mexico and is a country roughly the size of Ohio. Of the more than 12 million people who live here, just under half identify as indigenous Maya. People who in myriad and modern ways carry on the cultural traditions of their ancestors. People with a culture as colorful and varied as the weavings they create. So that's a really nice way to introduce this work as a whole. But then if I click on the individual images, I can learn a little bit more. So you can see here that she's got just like a paragraph kind of describing what's going on in the photo. I look at the next one, same thing, a few sentences that tell me what's going on, and so on. So if you do have a whole body of work that kind of tells one long story, this is a really nice way to break it up and sort of keep the reader invested and like kind of going along in these little increments with you. Since we do have such short attention spans, that's a really effective method to keeping people engaged. And then the third section I'd like to show you is the events, city and culture photos because they're really fun. I'm from the San Francisco area too, so I really love these and I recognize some of these famous people, like our San Francisco giant Hunter Pence. You may recognize him too. Or famous places like the Academy of Sciences, or some of our events like Dia de los Muertos. So if you're from the area, this is a fun way to let people know what's going on. Maybe they want to check out some of these things for themselves. Or even if you're not from around here, it gives you a little more context to help appreciate what's happening. And for me, it's also inspiring because I've never been to the Lagunitas Beer Circus in Petaluma, but look how much fun they're having. Now I feel like I need to go check it out. So the second job of your portfolio is to engage the reader, bring them to a closer connection where they want to get to know you and your work a little more. So Cheryl's site has certainly done that. I'm much more engaged knowing a little bit more about these photos and the subjects, and her as the photographer. So now that I know she's got some exhibits now and coming up in the next few months, I'm going to have to check them out. So great job, Cheryl. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have to look at her site today. If you are watching in YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're watching somewhere else, I'd love to know what you think. Please leave a comment and I'll share those with Cheryl as well. I am looking for new portfolios to review. So if you're enjoying these and you'd like to volunteer your own portfolio or suggest a portfolio that you think is really strong, I'd love to know about it. Just email me at jessica@artglish.com. Or if you'd like to get some free portfolio writing tips, you can head over to my website, artglish.com, and sign up for my newsletter. Thanks again to Cheryl L. Guerrero. You can continue to be inspired by her great work at clgimages.com, and all of these links are in the notes. Please come back next week for another 30-second scroll.